Hello, boys and girls. It's Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Camp Crystal Lake cocktail, which is the featured cocktail in today's podcast. All right, we're going to take our glass. We're going to take Campari. We're going to put 1 ounce of Campari in our glass. Next, we're going to add 2 ounces of sparkling wine. Which is really just champagne that is not from Champagne. Next, I'm going to take a little shot glass here, and in there, I'm going to add some honey. Okay, honey. And to the honey, I'm going to add some red food coloring. Don't know how much, I'm just winging it. Let's mix that up. That looks pretty good. Obviously, it's supposed to have the consistency of blood. And then we're going to try, I stress the word try, to rim the glass with our honey and blood mixture, or honey and red food coloring mixture. And actually, that's looking pretty good. Yeah. I'm happy with that. And there you have it. The Camp Crystal Lake. It's alright. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya. Bye.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So if you're ready, let's go. Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yes. How are you, Karen?
I'm excellent. How are you, Greg?
I'm okay.
Okay, good.
And once again, tonight we have a special guest, my son, John. John, how are you?
Doing fantastic as usual.
Good to hear.
He actually came back after the first one. Impressive.
All right, Karen, I believe that today's movie was my choice. Was it? Was it not?
I believe it was.
Okay. And the movie we're doing today is from 1980, Friday the 13th. Because, as you all know, this episode comes out August 11th. which means Friday will be August the 13th. Friday the 13th.
We're so
Correct.
clever.
That's right. And I believe we have a cocktail.
We do.
So today's cocktail is the Camp Crystal Lake. Would you like to know how to make it and what you'll need, Karen?
Of course.
So we're going to need 1 ounce of Campari, which is an Italian bitter liqueur.
Yes, it is.
We're going to need 2 ounces of sparkling wine, which is just, if you want to get fancy and use real champagne, you can, I guess. And then we're going to need some honey and some red food coloring. So basically, we're going to mix 1 ounce of Campari with 2 ounces of sparkling wine in a cocktail glass. Then in another glass or container, I used a shot glass, we're going to mix honey and red food coloring, and we're going to pour that over the rim of the glass, correct?
Oh, I put it on a plate.
Oh, you could do that. And spun
swirled
it?
Yeah, and I spun it around and then tipped it over.
You're super fancy.
Yes, I am.
I didn't do that at all. I just took my little and just poured it around the rim. Got the same effect.
Mine's better.
Okay, Karen, should we give the folks at home a chance to make their own shitty Camp Crystal Lake cocktail?
I will say about this one, it looks much prettier than it is.
Yeah,
than it tastes. Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a really cool Halloween drink, but I would use the honey and red food coloring for something else. But yes, please gather your ingredients.
Or I would make a better red beverage to go in it.
Yes.
All right, hold on. All right, we're back.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So my son, John, told me when we started this podcast, hey, if and when you ever do the original Friday 13th, I want to be on with you. John, why is that?
Wait, with you?
with us.
Okay. I think he really wants to be on with me, but go ahead.
Well, one of the things that I really like about it is, again, similarly to the last episode I was on, the campy nature of it. Everything's a little over the top. Everything's a little bit extra. It's also missing that polish that you kind of expect from something of this sort of legendary caliber. And it's also the first movie in the start of my favorite series of horror films. So,
but it's much different than the others.
I don't think it's that
different.
See, I don't get that, but I guess these aren't my favorite kind of movies because I saw this one and I never saw another one after this. See, it started it all for John and it ended it all for me. I just didn't enjoy these movies back then, especially.
And going back to our conversation when we did A Nightmare on Elm Street, when we were comparing the two, because you had said this was the first one you watched, and and you asked me if I thought this one was worse than A Nightmare on Elm Street. Do you remember that?
Meaning gorier, not worse as a movie.
It's not.
No.
It is much tamer than I remember it.
Yeah, and this was enough to make me not want to watch any more of them. But on another note, this is the first movie that we've watched that I've actually seen before. So, granted, I was in 8th grade, maybe 9th grade.
Oh, see, I didn't see it till the 80s, the late 80s, when it was on cable. Once I busted out of my parents' house and got my own place and got cable.
John, when did you see it? How old do you think you were?
I want to say I was probably 13 or 14 the first time I saw it.
See, it's about when that's my age. So I was a little traumatized by it.
Yeah, see, I was well into my 20s when I saw it.
And I actually have the opposite reaction that you did, Karen. I saw this and I loved it. I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. Granted, I was younger than when I saw this, but I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. Absolutely terrified. Awful. Hated it.
This didn't bother you at all. Not me.
Because by the time he saw this, he was probably desensitized to this sort of stuff. Just like me.
I think it's more so the whole aspect of like it's not as psychological as Nightmare on Elm Street is.
That's true, because this is more straight up.
So
we're going to kill everybody.
John, did you see the movie John Carpenter's Halloween?
I have indeed.
Okay, did you see it before or after this, if you remember?
Before, I think.
Okay.
So you were like 12 when you saw Halloween?
Which is a much better film than this.
I respectfully disagree, but I never really liked the character of Mike Myers, so I'm just...
Yeah, but this movie is basically a total ripoff of Halloween.
Oh, so Halloween was before this one?
Yes.
I see.
That's where they came up with the name Voorhees. It was there's a scene, I guess, in the movie Halloween where there's a street sign that says Haydensburg? Is that where Halloween took place? And underneath that, it says Voorhees. It was the name of a town in the same area as where Halloween took place.
And which one made more money?
I think Halloween, probably.
Overall, I'd say probably definitely Halloween.
All right, let's see. Box office for Halloween, 60 to 70 million. Box office for Friday the 13th, 59 million. So
about the same.
Just a little less.
Yeah.
But Halloween had a much larger budget. And it shows. So there. All right. Are we ready to get into the film?
Well, do you want your synopsis?
And again,
yes.
With a lower budget, you get a nice campy B nature of it.
Do you have a synopsis, Karen?
Yes, I do.
Awesome, because I do not.
It's my job, isn't it?
It is. Sorry.
Look at your outline. Didn't mean to
step on your toes.
Look at your outline, Greg. Study the outline. Crystal Lake's history of murder doesn't deter counselors from setting up summer camp in the woodsy area. Superstitious locals warn against it, but the fresh-faced young people, Jack, Alice, Bill, Marcy, and Ned, pay little heed to the old-timers. Then they find themselves stalked by a brutal killer. As they're slashed, shot, and stabbed, the counselors struggle to stay alive against a merciless opponent. Was someone actually shot?
No. Nope, no one was shot. And just for the record, I never used the word Jack in the whole evening. So
is that Kevin Bacon?
That is Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I don't say Jack either.
So when I say Kevin Bacon does this and Kevin Bacon does that and Kevin Bacon and Marcy are doing this, I mean Jack.
I thought that might come up.
Yes.
Okay, where did you watch it, Greg?
I watched it on Amazon Prime. I paid $4.16 or 26 cents for this. And
John, where did you watch it?
I also watched it on Amazon Prime.
Because I watched it on a site called popcornflix.com and it was free. And I was all excited until about 15 minutes in and the ads popped up. So I kept going because I didn't know how often the ads were going to pop up. Well, they pop up pretty often. But it's interesting. It's a terrible way to watch a movie like this because it breaks the suspense. You know, you hear the music, boom, it's a PetSmart ad. So it was a little easier to watch it that way. And it would be great for a free, and you can skip the ads after the first one. But I thought it was a great thing I discovered until it's not what you would use for a movie like this. But if you were watching like a rom-com or something, it'd be fine.
Who was it again? What site was it?
Popcornflix.com.
So popcornflix.com. If you want to sponsor us, you know, we'll still take your money.
I mean, I don't think there was anything different. We'll find out, but it just would, there'd be these real tense situations and boom, an ad would pop up. So it was a different way to watch it. But hey, I saved $4.15.
Well, you go, girl.
I know.
Okay, are we ready to get into it?
I'm in. John, you ready?
Aye, aye, Captain.
All right. Movie opens and it says that it is Camp Crystal Lake, 1958. There's a bunch of teenage, I don't know, maybe 20-somethings sitting around the fireplace, playing the guitar and singing Down in the Valley. Remember that song, Karen?
No.
I don't either. But I recognized it.
Have you ever sung around the campfire?
Have I?
Yeah. Has anybody brought it? Really?
Yes.
Okay. John, you?
I have actually sung around a campfire. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I made a note that clearly the person playing the guitar is totally faking it.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't know that, but okay.
We only see the back of the guitar as they're playing. We see the back of the neck of the guitar and their hand moving up, and you don't really see what they're doing on the strings, but they ain't playing what's being played. I can tell you that. John, did you notice?
I did not notice that, but
okay.
At least they gave you the out of, hey, we just showed it from behind. You don't got to stare at the fingers doing the wrong thing.
Okay. Then we cut to a shot of the full moon, correct? So
the hallelujah. They do the hallelujah and they finish.
Yes, they do that. They do that.
And
yeah.
they play some very Christian stuff.
Yeah, but two of the counselors sneak off.
Holding hands.
One of the guys and one of the girls, they sneak off and they start making out. And they go upstairs in some like barn or loft or some shit. I didn't really know where they were, but they were in a building and they went upstairs.
They went to a cabin. I think that's what I think before that, the door opened to the cabin. So
it did.
Yeah, we're showing.
And you saw the beds. And
yeah.
The music was playing. Like the children were in there sleeping while the counselors were sitting around the the fires playing their kumbaya shit, right?
And the Friday I love that sound. The Friday the 13th. Yeah. I mean, that's some good composing. It's like Jaws music. You know something bad's going to happen when you hear that.
Yeah. Yes. Throughout the whole rest of the movie, when you hear that, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of ruins what's going to happen, I think. But anyway.
It ups your stress level. You know, you hear it.
Right. So they go upstairs in this building and they start making out. And I made a note. It really doesn't look like 1958, judging by their clothes or shoes. Did you notice their shoes, Karen?
I did.
Did it look like 1958 footwear to you?
No. 1970 footwear.
Yeah.
Maybe. But they run to the cabin. Here's my favorite line. The girl says, "Does Mary Ann kiss as good as I do?" And he says, "How would I know?" And I was like, "Ooh, smooth." Good answer. Good answer.
Right. But then apparently they are startled by someone. Someone catches them.
Yeah. They put a blanket on the floor and they're kissy facing.
Yep.
At least they put a blanket down.
Yeah. They're classy.
So someone catches them and apparently stabs the guy in the gut.
After he says, "We weren't doing anything."
Yes. And then the girl is like screaming and they freeze frame on the girl screaming. And then we go to the title screen and we see the credits.
So 2 dead before it even starts, Greg.
I know.
Be happy.
I know. I was glad I had something to watch before the credits started, but I could have used something to watch while the credits were rolling. But I did make a note that the special effects makeup was by Tom Savini.
Should I know that? I don't know.
He's a famous makeup guy.
I also made a note about the makeup, and I talked about how it's we've got a lot of bad acting going on, but a lot of good special effects.
Yeah, the makeup wasn't bad. I'll give it that. So then after the credits, the movie starts and it says across the screen, Friday the 13th, the present.
Yeah. The present.
Which in this case is 1980, right?
I think so, yeah.
Do you remember 1980, Karen?
I do.
I do too.
Not quite the glory years.
It was not. It was not a good year, I don't think. It was not.
But
not as good as the mid to late 80s. I would say. Those were better. And I know John doesn't remember them, so I'm not going to ask.
Sure don't.
Be a little creepy if he did, but okay.
Next, we see a backpacker walking through the town. We learn her name is Annie.
Yeah, she stops to talk to a dog.
Asks the dog how far it is to Camp Crystal Lake. Then she continues walking through town, and we see the payphone egg hanging on the wall. Did you notice that, Karen?
The antique.
It's not as antique as the booth.
True.
It was one of those super modern egg-shaped payphones.
The town's pretty dead, too. Nothing's going on until she gets to the diner.
It is. Well, that's why I said next. She goes into a store. I didn't know if it was a diner, a deli, or whatever. And she asks where Camp Crystal Lake is, and everyone stares at her.
Yeah, she gets the side eye.
Yep. I did make a note. There are lots of cartons of Marlboros and Marlboro Lights, though, under the counter. They just show that. And so she asked if there's a bus or something, right? And so eventually this guy named Enos offers to take her there.
Yeah, she asks how far it is to Crystal Lake, and it's 20 miles.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
That's quite a ways.
Yep.
To backpack, but we don't know how far she's come.
And I like Annie, I have to say.
Yeah, I did too.
So far, she's my favorite character.
She's hopeful. She's got the spirit.
Yeah.
She's very perky.
She is perky.
So Enos and Annie are walking to his truck, and a man jumps in front of them as they're walking down the street. And he says, "You're going to Camp Blood, aren't you?" That's my impression of Ralph. Who we find out is Ralph. Yeah.
So how much time do you think has passed since the original murders at this point? Because it just says present, so we don't know.
58 to 80.
Oh, so we're assuming it's 80.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's 80. 21 years later, camp counselor Annie is driven halfway.
Okay.
So it's 21 years later, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, so it's 20 miles from where they are now, and he's going to drop her at the crossroads, which is halfway. So she'd still have to hoof 10 miles.
Right, which, and I did make a note that Enos kind of grabs her ass as he's helping her into the truck.
So did I. He helped her into the truck by grabbing her ass. I'm like, oh my God.
You got to do what you got to do. I don't know.
Get it where you can. Back in the 80s.
And as they're driving, Enos tells Annie about all the bad things that have happened at the camp. And I made a note that the audio is terrible.
Well, yeah, Ralph leaves on his bike, and the truck driver, what's his name?
Enos
asks Annie if her boss has told her anything about it.
Right.
And she says basically, no, she's going to be the cook.
Yes.
She's going to cook for 50 kids and 10 staff.
Steve Chrissy is the boss.
And she asks what happened.
He tells her. And he also tells her she should quit.
Yes, he does.
So he drops her off at the crossroads, which is right at the cemetery. And the sign on the cemetery says New Hope or Hope, New Jersey.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so that's where this is filmed. Next, we see Kevin Bacon and two other kids in a red 1977 Ford F-Series pickup truck.
Great truck.
John, do you know how much that truck is worth today?
Nowadays, what year did you say it was? 77?
1977 Ford F-Series pickup truck.
Are we assuming excellent condition?
Yeah.
35,000.
Karen, do you know?
I hate this. He only does this, John, to take away points because I get everything else right. He knows I'll screw this up. 1977
Ford F-Series pickup truck. How much would one of those be worth in good condition today?
Okay, this is like Price is Right. What did you say, John?
35,000.
Okay, do I have to be closer without going over?
No. No.
I'll say 52.5.
You guys you're going the wrong way.
18.3.
That's closer. Yes. Average value today is $13,500.
Really?
Yeah.
In excellent condition?
Yeah, in good condition. Yeah. Well, you know how much they were brand new, off the lot, base price?
$3,500.
Right
really?
on the nose. Yes. $3,500. Brand new, off the lot in 1977. But
John,
they're $13,000 today.
Sounds like you could get your hands on one.
That's crazy. I don't understand
would love
that.
to get my hands on one.
Well, wait.
Wait,
we have another vehicle coming soon.
Did they all fall apart? Is that why they're not around anymore?
I don't know. I found this information on a blog page, I guess, on Ford's website, and it's about how to escape mass murderers.
What?
Yeah, they mentioned like Friday the 13th and other movies like
that have used it.
Yeah, psychomaniac killers are getting away in Ford vehicles. It's pretty cool. And I made a note that as they're driving along, I noticed that the Godfather paperback was sitting on the front dash.
I saw that too, and I wondered if there was some sort of symbolism there.
But
John,
I don't
anything?
Know. Not that I know of.
Okay.
I think it must have been just a popular book or something.
And I did notice also they were doing country driving. That's right down the middle of the road.
Well, when you're the only car there, why do lanes matter? No.
I don't know, but I still don't drive down the middle of the road unless I'm going to my parents' house because that's country driving, you know.
Out where I'm at, we don't even have lots.
So they eventually arrive at the camp in their 1977 Ford F-Series pickup truck. And we see a guy chopping wood.
A shirtless dude with jean cutoff shorts and hiking boots.
Shorts.
Greg, I'm betting you wore that outfit at some point.
Absolutely. In 1980,
there's pictures of him in that outfit.
In 1980, that is exactly what I was wearing. Bandana and all. So anyway, they all jump out of the truck and they help him remove a tree stump. And we found out his name is Steve. And then there's another girl there named Alice who has a very 80s haircut. I made a note.
She's got the Dorothy Hamill.
Yes, the Dorothy Hamill. Mm-hmm. Exactly what it was. So Steve and Alice start hanging a gutter. And Steve starts looking through Alice's sketchbook. Apparently, she's an artist.
And it's very clear she has never installed gutters before.
I agree 100%. She moved the ladder a millimeter and put another nail. I was like, what are you doing, girl?
She did have the nails in her mouth, though. That's a pro move. But Steve says that she's very talented and very pretty.
Yeah.
But Alice wants to leave. She's not sure she likes this roughing it. Hanging up gutters and whatnot, clearing trees. But Steve convinces her to stay for another week and to see how it goes. And he says if she still wants to leave, he will put her on a bus himself.
Yeah, if she's not happy.
Culty,
I don't know. Maybe.
Annie knows what's up. She should just leave.
You mean Alice?
Oh, sorry. Alice, sorry.
Yeah. Annie isn't there yet.
Annie doesn't know what's up.
No.
My bad completely.
So Steve decides he needs to go into town for something. He's going to leave everyone else there to keep working. Steve gets in his 1972 Jeep CJ5. Karen, do you know how much a 1972 Jeep CJ5 is worth today in good condition?
His wasn't in good condition even then. $18,300.
That's pretty close. John, do you have a guess?
We're gonna go with $13,500.
You need to split the difference. I think it's $17,700. About $17,700.
I said 18,300. I'm way closer.
I know. Well, you're closer. You are.
I get the bell.
But yeah, okay.
Suck it, John.
But do you know how much a 1972 Jeep CJ5, what its base price was in 1972?
John, you go first.
We're going to go with $3,000 even.
Karen.
I'm going to go $4,200.
John wins. He's only off by $45.
Wow.
$29.55 for my research was base price.
Wow.
Nice.
Victory bell for John.
But that just blows me away. It was like $3,000 in 72, and now it's $17,000.
Well, most things
really
go up.
It. No, they don't.
Don't die.
Well, everything that we've done on here has gone up. I guess we've done a lot of older cars.
Yeah, I guess because it's a classic.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he gets in his Jeep and he goes to town and he tells the others that if Annie arrives, to put her ass to work in the kitchen. Then we cut to an archery area.
Yeah, is there an extra girl here?
That's Brenda.
Yeah, where did she come from?
She was already here.
Yeah, she wasn't in the car with the three of them. All of a sudden, there's another girl.
Yeah, she was already there. Because Alice was already there. Bill was already there. Or no, okay. Bill was driving the truck. Or maybe that was Ned driving the truck. I don't know.
Ned drives the truck. Yeah.
So Kevin Bacon and Marcy and Ned arrive in the truck. Alice, Bill, Brenda, and Steve are already
there. Okay, I get it. It just seemed like she showed up out of nowhere.
Brenda. And Ned almost kills Brenda with an arrow.
God, I'd have been so pissed. And then he does.
First thing I wrote.
Is that you'd be pissed?
No, was that Ned is wildly irresponsible with projectile weapons.
He's wildly irresponsible with everything.
He's the comic relief, I think.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Does he do an impression of Bogart?
Yes, he does.
He's the lovable nerd.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a douche or anything. Well, he kind of is because he almost killed her, but he's supposed to be this lovable guy.
Yeah, just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Next scene, we see a 1972 Jeep CJ5.
Oh, crap.
Very similar to Steve's. Stops and pick up Annie along the road as she is hitchhiking. But this Jeep's top is up. I made a note. Steve left with his top down. So not sure what's going on there.
What do you mean? It's a different Jeep. It's much nicer.
No, it's actually, in reality, it is the same Jeep. They use the same Jeep when filming.
Did they really?
For both scenes. They did.
It just looked a lot nicer in this.
They're both green 72 Jeep CJ5s.
I mean, we've seen worse. So, you know.
Yep. So
I believe they write it off. Sorry.
They write it off.
They write it off in the story as these were like camp vehicles.
Oh, well, they're the same vehicle. So Annie gets in the Jeep and they're driving down the road, and the Jeep passes the road that says Camp Crystal Lake this way. And Annie says, "Hey, I think we missed a turn. Hey, what? I think we need to stop. Would you please stop?" And we never see the driver.
But the Jeep doesn't stop. What's it do?
It accelerates, I think.
Yes, it does.
So Annie ends up jumping out of the Jeep as it's rolling along.
It's going pretty fast, and she jumps out, and I swear to God, it looks like she should have broken her neck the way she fell out of that thing.
She did something because she limped her way through the woods to try to get away from the road.
Yeah, she's dragging her leg for sure.
Yeah,
so she's going in the woods.
And we hear terrible music, and Annie is being chased by an unseen person, I guess. And then she eventually falls at the feet of someone. She stands up and her throat is slit with a knife. What kind of knife was that, John? You know?
Another buck or maybe a case. It's the same kind of style as the Buck 110 from Evil Dead.
Yeah. So it's like a Bowie knife.
Yeah, Bowie knife, however you want to say it. Yeah.
It's kind of sad that they killed her. I kind of liked her.
I did too. I really liked her. I really wanted to see more of her.
Again, like I said, this is the first movie that I've watched that I've seen before. So I already know the ending. So the interesting thing about watching it is seeing, I didn't really pay attention, but every once in a while I would notice something that kind of made you think it was someone else. You know, like another counselor or someone. They were trying to throw you off because this is a big surprise ending. But I was surprised they killed her so early. Little psycho-like, you know, killing off somebody so quickly.
Yep. Then we cut to a scene where the other counselors are swimming in the pond.
Well, I think it's Crystal Lake.
Yeah,
right?
the lake. Yeah, a lake then. Yeah, Crystal Lake.
And Kevin Bacon's in a Speedo.
I did make a note of that.
Did you make a note of that, John?
I did indeed. I made a general note about swimwear differences.
But someone we see is watching them from the woods. Another unseen person. So they're all in the lake.
They're watching, and then whoever's in the woods, their ring reflects some sunlight. And one of the counselors sees it, right?
I think it's Marcy. It might be Brenda, though.
I believe it's Marcy.
Okay.
And then they just poo-poo it and move on.
Yeah.
But they do see it.
So eventually Ned starts screaming for help as the others come out of the lake. They dive in to save him, except for Kevin Bacon. He never dives in. He just, I don't know if does he get in the canoe or something?
Yeah.
Because his hair stays perfect the whole time.
Well, they throw out a ring that doesn't do anything, and it was a cluster if that's how they're going to save someone.
And it's Brenda that saves him. Brenda goes down and pulls him up and drags him to the dock and starts giving him mouth to mouth. And that's when Ned puts his arms around her and embraces her, and ha ha ha. It was all a trick.
That Ned.
What a goof.
Yeah.
He pulled the old Sandlot.
Yeah, I know, right? But that kid was legend. This guy does not.
What are you talking about?
The Sandlot.
Never seen it. All right, next scene.
That's just, I have no response to that. That it can be spoken.
We see Alice in her cabin in a pink bathrobe and a black rat, what appears to me to be a black rat snake, startles her.
Yeah, this part I didn't like.
The others come in to help her get the snake, and Ned ends up killing it with a machete.
After everybody destroys the cabin trying to get the snake.
Yes. And they cannot say no snakes were harmed in the filming of this movie.
I know, that's
because that was a real snake and they killed it.
That's terrible. They didn't need to do that.
But they did. Next, a motorcycle cop arrives.
Yeah, Ned's acting a fool.
Yes.
He's got his shirt tied around his butt like a diaper, and he's doing an Indian dance.
Well, I think we've all done that at some point.
When we were like 8, maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe you did it later. John, what were you saying?
I said he was definitely appropriating some things.
Yes.
And the motorcycle cop says he's looking for someone named Ralph.
Yeah, and the cop, they don't put him in the most flattering light.
Again, I think he's comic relief.
He's got a very Super Troopers vibe.
Yes, he does. What have you been smoking, boy? Did you just land from outer space?
Talk about that weed, that grass.
Yeah, it's my impression of the cop. So anyway, the cop gets a call to go somewhere and do something else, right? And he takes off.
It's a car accident with entrapment or something like that.
I think that's later. But yeah, he gets a call to go somewhere else. And he tells them, we're not going to stand for any shenanigans out here in these woods. So next we see Alice working in the kitchen because Annie ain't there. No one knows where Annie is.
Annie didn't show up.
Nope. And she opens the closet or the pantry or whatever, and there's Ralph, who we learn is Ralph, who is the crazy dude from the town. He says he is a messenger from God and that they are all doomed.
Yeah,
doomed.
I say he spouts his gospel. This place has a death curse and that God sent him and you're doomed. And he tells him to go.
Yes, he does. And you know how on, again, I'm going to bring up the X-ray stuff on Amazon.
Oh, on Amazon
Prime Video. So apparently Ned is eating a hamburger in this scene, but they aren't made until the next scene. So unless he's, made one himself. But anyway, so then they're all in the kitchen and Alice notices that the light bulb is not lighting up. It won't turn on. So Kevin Bacon goes to start the generator. And he does, correct?
Yes, yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, he starts the generator and the lights come on. Next, we see Kevin Bacon and Marcy walking by the lake.
I say they dance on a log.
They do.
Okay. And they kissy face.
Yeah. And Ned is watching them kind of jealously. Jealous.
He's alone. Yeah.
Jealously.
With jealousy.
With jealousy. Yeah. Then Ned sees someone moving in a cabin and goes to investigate. And that's pretty much what we last to see in Ned for a while.
Yeah, he says, "Can I help you?" That's it.
The
end.
So a storm is coming. Lightning starts flashing, kind of like flashlights on the actors' faces. But Marcy and Kevin Bacon talk about a dream Marcy has where rain turns to blood.
Yeah, and washes away in rivers.
And she overacts.
It's kind of dark.
Yeah. And she overacts too in this scene, I think.
Just in this one? Okay. Let me just make a note here. This scene. Okay.
Well, she hasn't done a whole lot yet.
It's true.
She's a little melodramatic. So then Marcy and Kevin Bacon go to a cabin to get away from the rain. And Marcy just begins to disrobe.
Well, that's how the effect Kevin Bacon has on people, I guess.
I guess.
You get alone with Kevin Bacon, you take your shot.
Yeah, you take your pants off.
Apparently.
That's the first thing that's the first thing she does. Then they start making out on a cot.
On the bottom bunk of a cot.
I didn't really get that they were bunks.
They were bunks.
Yeah, I kind of figured that later, but it didn't really look like a bunk.
That's because you're an only and you didn't sleep in a bunk. Okay. Those of us with bunks know what a bunk looks like.
Okay. So then we cut to Alice, Brenda, and Bill sitting by the fireplace. Kind of a throwback to where we started, right?
Yeah, except they're not singing Christian songs.
Well, Bill is pretending to play the guitar. I don't know what he's playing. I didn't make a note. Is he playing anything?
Just playing chords, just, messing around.
Just strumming. Then Brenda invites them all to play Strip Monopoly. I never heard of Strip Monopoly before. Have you, Karen?
Nope. John?
Nope.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, that's different. Then we cut
like
back
a real
to
short game of Monopoly.
That would make it go faster, I imagine. So then we cut back to Kevin Bacon and Marcy getting busy on the cot. But this time we pan up and we see Ned above them with his throat slit. And here's where I made a note. Bunk bed? ? I couldn't tell.
It's definitely a bunk bed. I just wrote Ned is dead on the top bunk.
Maybe it was the camera angles or whatever, but I didn't.
You could see
really look like a bunk bed.
The metal pole.
Okay.
I knew it was a bunk bed even when I watched it the first time.
Well, I'll have you know that my freshman year in college, we had bunk beds. So I know.
Like you remember your freshman year of college.
I've tried to forget it. So then we cut back to the others playing Strip Monopoly and smoking what appears to be a hand-rolled cigarette.
And what you will notice, or if you listen prior, when they're getting ready to play Strip Monopoly, I believe Brenda says, see if Marcy left any of that grass over there.
She did. That's right.
Did she? I missed that part. So apparently it's not a hand-rolled cigarette.
No, it is not.
I guess it's what they call a joint. Then we cut back to Kevin Bacon, Marcy, and we see one bare breast, right? One natural bare breast.
See, I didn't see this.
Yes, because Kevin has his hand over the other.
I think it's because I watched
They're kind of like spooning, and he has his hand over.
No, I'm saying
so you didn't see that
flicks.
part?
No, I didn't see that.
So Kevin has one of his hands over the other bare natural breast, and then Marcy says, "I have to go pee."
See, I didn't see that.
Okay, well that's what happens.
Edited. Yeah.
Yep. And then we cut back to the Monopoly game. John, am I right?
You are correct.
Yes. See, Karen, I'm not just making it up.
No,
I'm not just making up bare natural breasts.
No, I know you do a count. You wouldn't make it up.
We cut back to the Monopoly game, and they are drinking Budweiser in those little bottles. I made a note. They still do make those little bottles of Budweiser?
John?
I don't think they make the little bottles anymore. I've never seen those, but I've seen like Red Stripe, which is like essentially the same looking thing.
It is.
Yeah, is that the same kind of bottle?
Yeah, same kind of bottle.
I don't know if they make those anymore.
They're still like 12-ounce bottles, but they're like little tiny things.
If anyone knows, let us know.
Yes, email us. Email us at scaryspiritspodcast@gmail.com and let us know if they still make Budweiser in those little tiny bottles. So then Kevin Bacon lies there on the cot and he lights himself up his own hand-rolled cigarette while Marcy is out peeing. Did you see that part, Karen?
I did see that.
So Kevin Bacon's lying there smoking a joint and blood starts dripping on him, right? Well, you had to have seen this because it's a kill, right?
It is.
A hand reaches up from under the cot, grabs Kevin Bacon's forehead, and an arrow pierces his throat. Correct?
From underneath.
From under the cot. Yep. He gone.
That's the only...
Karen,
what?
You have some medical knowledge.
Yes, Dr. Karen.
That the rest of us do not possess. I'm not sure of the ability of a human to stab an arrow with their hand through a mattress and through a person.
And you would think it would have to come up through their spinal column.
Yeah, if you miss the spinal cord, possibly. And the mattresses are probably crap mattresses, right?
Yeah.
They're probably the cheapest mattress you could find. So could you do it? Again, I'm not a medical doctor, so take anything I say with a grain of salt, but I think you maybe could. I don't think whoever did this would have the angle, because the bed would have to be awfully high off the ground, right? To get the arrow straight up through. Unless arrows bend. Do they bend?
They could, but I'd also like to point out, I don't think I've ever experienced a bunk bed situation where it was not pushed up against the wall, especially in a summer camp. So
Right.
How are you behind the bunk bed?
Yeah, see, that's what threw me when they panned up. They panned up from where the wall would be if I were picturing a bunk bed in that cabin.
True, but I think the angle, you'd need so much force to get it up through everything, like you said, John, that I don't think there's enough room without the bunk bed being pretty darn high off the ground. The other thing I thought you were going to mention was the fountain of blood that came out of his throat was a little off. I don't know. It looked like a bird fountain or something. I don't think it would have done that.
More gurgly and less arterial spray.
Well, it just came up in like a hose, like a fountain kind of thing instead of.
And then the X-ray, they noted that Tom Savini, there was a little tube going there, and he blew in it to make bubbles.
Oh, that makes sense.
Come out from the blood.
It wouldn't have shot up like that. It would have just kind of spread down, I think. But it's still an impressive kill.
Did you notice that Kevin Bacon's armpits were shaved, Karen?
I did not.
I didn't either, but I just found that little piece of trivia here on IMDb.
He's progressive. He's
in touch with his feminine side. But I remember, this is the only kill I actually remembered. And then, so after this, I went to...
And there really wasn't much to it, but...
No, but it's... Talk about psychological, someone under your bed. That's kind of creepy, right? And a dead person above you in a bunk bed. I thought it was an impressive kill. I thought it had it wasn't just a knife. It wasn't, it was creative.
It was visceral.
Yeah. And I think it played into that psychology of something being under your bed. Anyway.
Next, we cut to Marcy in the outhouse cabin, I'm calling it.
The bathroom cabin, yeah.
Whatever. Because, she says something that a camper wrote on the wall in the past or something about an outhouse. So I just called it the outhouse cabin. And someone enters that we don't see. And Marcy goes looking for whoever came into the outhouse cabin. And what happens to Marcy?
Well, she thinks it's Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And then she does, I think, a Katharine Hepburn impression in the window.
She does.
Not in the window, in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
While she's washing her hands.
Yes. But she gets an axe to the head.
Well, she looks behind the curtains and bam.
An axe to the head.
To her face.
Whatever. Same diff.
Well, that's a little more descriptive. And the light swings like Psycho. Did you notice that? Went back and forth.
Yep. I did. So then we cut back to the Monopoly game. And Brenda leaves to go back to her cabin in her underwear because she thinks she left her windows open in her cabin and it's raining and storming. She doesn't pick up her clothes, though. She just puts on her raincoat and starts walking back to the cabin.
I noticed that, too. I wrote in her underwear. And I said, she's next because they're picking them off like flies. So
usually they get killed after they do something like have sex or smoke dope. And I guess she smoked dope, right? And gotten almost naked. I guess that qualifies for her to be punished. So then we cut to Steve, who's been at the fucking diner this whole time, I guess. Drinking coffee and eating donuts. I don't know.
He's a real shitbird.
Why did he go to town in the first place? I didn't make a note.
To get supplies. And now the Jeep has a trailer full of supplies.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
but he stops at the diner.
I mean,
to
you
get
can
coffee.
shit on Steve all you want. He just didn't want to drive back in the rain, in the mud with the trailer. He said the Jeep wouldn't make it with the trailer because of the rain.
But he tries, apparently.
Well, yeah.
So he pays his bill and leaves in the rain. Then we cut back to Brenda, and she's going to the outhouse cabin and brushes her teeth with Pepsodent.
I saw that.
And they still make Pepsodent now. It's not like, it's...
No, but it's a lot less popular than it used to be.
I guess. Then we cut back to Steve in his 1972 Jeep CJ5, and it has stalled in the rain. A police car pulls up. The cop agrees to take Steve back to the camp.
Yeah, that was pretty convenient that the cop was right there.
And I made a note that Steve's headlights turn off by themselves in between shots. So,
oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, his headlights are on when the cop arrives. He walks to the cop car, gets in it, and the next shot we have, the headlights are off, and they're driving away. So, it's a little thing, I guess.
I'd like to point out that he could have just left the trailer and not the trailer and the Jeep, and the Jeep would have done better getting him up there, arguably, than a cop car anyway. But
well, it wouldn't start.
But they didn't try to jump it or anything.
They didn't, no.
But I guess was it still pouring rain?
Yeah, but it was starting to lighten up, as we find out in a minute. So next we see Brenda in her cabin in a pink bathrobe, much like Alice had earlier. Brenda goes to bed in her granny nightgown and starts reading a book.
I called it her Little House on the Prairie nightgown. Long sleeves. It's got long sleeves.
It's a granny gown.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this is the girl who just was playing strip Monopoly.
Right.
Left her clothes in the other cabin and just put a raincoat over her underwear. And she's going to put on like a cotton long sleeve granny gown to go to sleep.
In the summer with no air conditioning. That's going to be hot.
Yeah.
And she's reading by candlelight.
Yes. And then she hears someone crying for help. It sounds like a woman's voice, and she goes to investigate.
A woman or a child? I thought it sounded like a child.
Yeah, same diff, I guess. She enters the archery range, and someone turns on the outside lights. So the archery range lights up. And then we cut away as we hear her scream. So once again, we see nothing.
I agree, but I still think that's kind of shitty that she got killed because she was going to help this child. She heard the voice. She was going to help. She wasn't having sex. She wasn't doing the drugs. She was.
She already did her. She already smoked that joint.
We didn't see that, did we?
Oh my gosh. I think she fired it up.
Maybe that wasn't in.
She was the one like in her underwear playing strip Monopoly. She was losing. I'm just going to say.
Alice fired it up.
Yeah, Al, it wasn't.
No, it couldn't have been Alice in her Dorothy Hamill cut.
No, it was Alice in the Dorothy Hamill haircut. She walked right over with it lit in her mouth.
Okay. I think you're right.
I just think if she was trying to help, that was a crappy way to make her get killed.
Whatever. They're all guilty. Next, we see Alice sitting by the fire with a guitar. And I made a note that she sounds like she's playing a song by Rush.
That would be highly unusual.
Well, so I think she was almost playing a spot on version of Discovery from Rush's 2112.
Was it out then?
Well, let's listen and tell me what you think. John, are you listening?
Yeah, John, you need to listen.
I'm listening, yeah.
Tell me if this doesn't sound like what Alice was playing on the guitar. Wasn't that it exactly?
I thought of that exact scene when I heard her playing it. I thought of the character.
Just sounds like someone's strumming.
Yeah, like someone who picked up a guitar for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah, she killed it. She killed that Rush song right there from 2112, Discovery. That's what it's called.
She may have even said in her head while playing, what could this strange instrument be?
What could this strange device be? When I touch it, it gives forth a sound. It's got wires that vibrate and give music. What can this strange thing be that I found? Something like that.
Was that out when this came out? Okay, so.
Yes, it was out.
All right, now we know her inner dialogue.
Yeah. She's a Rush fan.
Obviously.
I like Alice.
Well, don't get too attached.
So Bill enters the cabin while Alice is playing Discovery from Russia's 2112. And Alice tells Bill that she heard a scream and that the lights on the archery range came on. Bill takes a look out the window, but they are now off. Bill and Alice go looking for Brenda. They find a bloody axe in the cot, but I don't know if it was Brenda's cot. Was it just a cot or was it Brenda's cot?
I think they went to her cabin and she's not in her cabin, but there's an axe in her bed.
Okay.
I assumed it was her.
Then they check all the different buildings looking for the other counselors.
Well, they're still looking for Brenda, but then they start looking for everybody else.
Right. I think it's Alice. Says, we need to call someone. So Bill and Alice break into the office and try to use the phone to call someone for help. The rotary phone is dead. As is the payphone. Apparently there's a payphone in there too. I think someone says, do you have a dime?
A dime and a quarter. John, did you ever use a payphone?
I have used a payphone actually a couple of times.
Okay.
I remember specifically back in the days of Golden Corral, back in like the very early 2000s.
You went to Golden Corral?
Oh yes, absolutely, all the time.
Interesting. Okay.
Then the camera pans to the outside and we see a cut phone line on the wall of the cabin. It was a little dark. Some of these scenes were a little dark. The quality of this film was not very good, even on Amazon Prime Video. So Bill and Alice try to maybe get away in the 1977 Ford F-Series truck, but alas, it will not start.
Surprise, surprise.
And Bill says, maybe it's wet. I don't know. Don't know.
Does a car not start if it's wet?
No, Bill's not a car guy. He has no idea.
No, he has no idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
So then Alice says, let's just hike out of here. But Bill says, Steve will be back soon and not to worry. Everything will be okay in the morning.
Again, Alice was spot on.
Well, yeah. So then Steve and the cop are driving to the camp. And the cop talks about things being crazy during a full moon like it is this evening. So this whole movie takes place basically in one day, right? Well, 2 days. The cop then gets a call about an accident which require the jaw of life, which I think you were referring to earlier, John.
Yeah, that is what I was talking about.
So he drops Steve off and proceeds to the accident. So Steve's got to walk the rest of the way to the camp, but I don't think it's very far.
No, he sees the sign pretty quickly. It's lit up. So
Steve arrives at the camp entrance sign, and he is blinded by a flashlight. And he says to the unseen person, "Hi, what are you doing out here in this mess?" And then he appears to be stabbed in the gut, even though we don't see any blood or anything. He just like hunches over like he's stabbed in the gut, right?
Indeed.
Karen, right?
I don't know. I don't have that. So
okay. So again, someone's killed and there's no gore, no blood, no nothing. Next, we cut to a scene where we see the danger high voltage sign, as if someone
with the music.
Yeah, as if someone is walking in there, an unseen person. We are seeing the first person view of this person walking in there, right?
Yeah.
So I made a note. It must be the generator. Then the lights go out in the camp. Bill lights a couple Coleman lanterns. You know what a Coleman lantern is, Karen?
This is the one with liquid fuel in them.
Yeah,
that's what they look like. Yeah.
So Bill's good one. Yeah. So Bill says he's going to go check on the generator. He thinks it may be out of gas. Bill, the engineer.
The mechanic's going to go check the generator.
Right.
Don't worry about it. We got it.
Yeah, it might be out of gas. So Bill arrives at the generator and he sticks a stick down in the gas tank and says, "Nope, plenty of gas." And here's where I made a note that the camera work in this whole film is very amateur. It's like they shot the whole thing with one handheld camera. It looks like to me.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because it looks like shit. It's just not steady. Which maybe adds to the ambiance of the film. I don't know, but it looks like it was shot with one handheld camera. But anyway, so Alice goes to the kitchen and starts. Yeah,
Bill left. When Bill left, Alice was kind of sleeping on the couch. She was very tired.
Yeah. So she goes to the kitchen and starts up the gas range, and she's going to make some instant coffee with powdered non-dairy creamer.
Yep. Tasty.
Then she decides to go out looking for Bill. She finds Bill's red raincoat in the generator cabin.
The light is still hanging on the hook.
It's still hanging there.
I thought that was some sort of foreshadowing, like maybe he's going to get hooked on something, like a meat hook or something.
Maybe. So she leaves the cabin, closes the door behind her, and finds what?
Bill's pinned to the door with arrows.
Yep. Bill hanging on the door by several arrows, including one through his eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's one like right in his eye. And here's where I made the note. She is now the final girl. Right?
That's it.
So Alice goes back to her cabin and tries to lock the door. She ties a rope to the handle to keep it closed and puts it around like one of the rafters or something, which I thought that was pretty smart.
I agree.
But then she tries putting furniture in front of the door to barricade it, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it opens to the outside, not to the inside. But I wrote it would slow someone down coming through the door, I suppose.
I did make note on my end that she is locking herself in the cabin. She has stated that the door was not locked, and she is actively closing windows as well as barricading the door. And she did not even bother to check to see if there was anybody in the cabin before she proceeds to lock herself in the cabin.
That's true. But I think I probably would have done the same thing. I don't know. You're right, though.
Yeah, she didn't clear the cabin, did she, John?
She did not.
She did not.
Before she does that. But then when she grabs the baseball bat,
she then grabs the baseball bat.
And she's going to check the cabin now.
And here's what I wrote right now. Alice grabs a baseball bat. Why isn't there a gun at this camp? Right?
Well, if there's a gun, it would be in the office.
I know. We'll get there.
Not in her, unless she personally had it.
I know.
You and John would have guns. I would not.
I wouldn't. John would.
John, you're going to have to save me. Come to my cabin. Come to my cabin. First. Your dad can fend for himself. Come to my cabin first. It might be barricaded, but you can get over that shit.
So then Alice goes to the kitchen and grabs a large fork. So now she's got a baseball bat in one hand and a large fork in another. She's ready for battle. And the body of Brenda is thrown through the window, which is really Tom Savini. Tom Savini is the one that crashes through the window. He was the stunt double for Brenda. And Alice runs out of the kitchen, but leaves the lantern behind. I made a note. So she has no light, basically. She sees a 1972 Jeep CJ5 pull up.
She must think it's Steve,
that
right?
It is Steve. She runs out to it. But it's not Steve, is it, Karen?
No, it's not.
It is someone we learn is Mrs. Voorhees.
A friend of the Christies.
Yes, a friend of Steve Christie's, the guy who's running the camp now.
Well, the family. So was it his parents that ran it before?
Maybe.
I think, John, do you know, wasn't it run by his parents before?
Yeah, they said it was in one of, I think, Ralph's warnings. He mentioned that it's been in the family and that it's all cursed. It's been cursed for generations and generations, and they need to stop trying to open it.
And I made a note, there are only 20 minutes left in the film, and we are just now meeting Mrs. Voorhees.
I think she does a good job.
I don't know.
She's creepy.
She's supposed to be a good actress, apparently.
She was creepy to me.
But I don't know. So Mrs. Voorhees tells Alice about the death of Jason and that today is Jason's birthday.
Counselors were making love when Jason drowned.
They should have been watching him.
He's not a strong swimmer.
Right.
They knew that.
He shouldn't have been out in the fucking lake then.
Life
Did he
jackets.
know he was a strong swimmer or not? John, if you were not a strong swimmer, would you go out in a fucking lake?
I would not.
Well, there you go. I raised you right.
I have to point out that he is also, as a character, not mentally sound. He's not.
And he's young.
Not,
That's true. He's special.
But no, when you're like 5, you think you can do anything. Wasn't he young?
Yeah, he was 5 when he drowned.
Yeah, so you don't assess whether you're a strong swimmer or not. You just freaking jump in the water. You're 5. You're invincible.
So this is when Mrs. Voorhees reveals herself as the killer. She pulls a knife on Alice, and Alice doesn't seem to have too much trouble fighting Mrs. Voorhees off. I'm not sure why everybody else, they were all killed
she uses
easily.
A poker stick.
Right? Whatever. So Alice runs to the 1972 Jeep CJ5, and that is where she finds Annie in the passenger seat with her throat slit. She runs away from the Jeep, and Steve falls in front of her from a tree as she's running. And then we see a close-up of Mrs. Voorhees saying, "Kill her, Mommy. Kill her, Mommy. Don't let her get away, Mommy."
Shouldn't laugh.
That's my impression of Mrs. Voorhees.
Very nice.
Thank you. So Alice runs to the boathouse and grabs a gun. Looks like a .22 rifle, John. What do you say?
Yeah, something like that, like a 22 or maybe like a 238 or something like that.
And she acts like she knew it was there the whole time.
She even knows where the shells are.
Well, but she can't get them.
Yeah, I couldn't see this really well. So what's happening here? She found the gun.
She grabs the rifle. Mrs. Voorhees then starts up the generator. And then I made a note, why couldn't anyone else start it up? She didn't have any problem. And then Alice starts looking for the bullets. She's going through the drawers in the desk. Right?
So she doesn't know where the bullets are.
No.
There's no ammo. There's just the gun.
And they appear to be chained up and locked in the desk. There's a chain going between like 3 of the drawers with a padlock on it. So she starts taking the butt of the gun and trying to break open the padlock. And then as she's backing away, there's like there's like 20 guns on this wall.
But without ammo, what's the point?
There appears to be a whole rack of guns in that boathouse. And they're just now getting to them. All right. So anyway, Mrs. Voorhees.
Picked off one by one. Nobody else knows the others are killed until Alice.
I guess.
They don't know.
I guess.
They were all also taken by surprise, presumably.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. But Alice was taken by, I guess she was taken, maybe not surprised as the others were, but she actually starts having a conversation with Mrs. Voorhees before Mrs. Voorhees pulls the knife. But she doesn't look very menacing, you know? I'm not sure why Annie was so scared of her when she fell at her feet and, whatever. So then Mrs. Voorhees bitch slaps Alice a few times, and Alice punches Mrs. Voorhees and she falls to the ground. One punch, she falls to the ground. Mrs. Voorhees runs to the woods to try to find Alice. Alice hides behind what appears to be an old dock. And as Mrs. Voorhees passes, she runs the other way.
Yep.
So then Alice goes back to the kitchen and goes into the pantry or closet or whatever it is and turns out all the lights.
Why would you do that?
She's just hiding. She just wants to hide. So she hears Mrs. Voorhees come in and the lights come on. And then she hears Mrs. Voorhees leave.
Well, she thinks.
But just then, Mrs. Voorhees starts trying to pound her way into that pantry or whatever with a machete.
Yep.
But she gets in, and Alice hits her with a cast iron skillet, knocks her ass to the ground.
There you go.
And she runs to the pond or the lake. I don't know why I keep calling it a pond.
To the dock.
Yeah. And so she's looking at her reflection in the lake, Alice is. And in the reflection, she sees Mrs. Voorhees behind her. And they fight again.
Roll around on the sand.
Roll around, and Mrs. Voorhees loses the machete. And then Alice grabs the machete and decapitates Mrs. Voorhees. Right?
Yeah, and there's some good handwork after that head falls off.
Yeah.
Her hands keep moving, kind of like a chicken.
Then Alice gets in a canoe and pushes out into the lake. Cut to the next day, I assume. Alice is in the lake in the canoe. A police car arrives, and there's terrible music again.
Yeah, and Alice she's sleeping, but her hand's in the water.
Yes.
It's actually pretty. It's a pretty shot. I mean,
it is.
It's a nice scenery.
It is. And we see the police yelling for Alice from the bank of the lake. We can't hear him because the crappy music is playing. All we can see is the police officer putting his hands to his mouth. So, he's yelling. And then Alice wakes up. And what happens, Karen?
John, you want to take this? What happens?
The only true jump scare of the movie. Jason, the one and only.
The first Jason.
He pops out of the water and grabs Alice out of the canoe and pulls her under.
That was a good scare. Because I remember that getting me the first time.
That's what I remember. I thought that was the end. I don't remember the rest of it. I don't remember her. Well, next she wakes up in a hospital, right?
But that was a good scare.
I thought that's how it ended.
Well, because you were traumatized.
Maybe. I don't know. But maybe it was a good scare. So it's probably the only time I was scared and only time I got, startled in the whole thing.
When you watched it on cable, did you know the ending already?
No.
You didn't know it was Mrs. Voorhees? Okay. I was just curious.
No idea.
Because it's a very popular trivia question.
Yeah.
How many kids did Jason kill in the first
movie?
So I was just wondering.
Yep. So Alice wakes up in a hospital bed screaming. That's the next scene. An officer tells Alice that the rest of the councils are dead. She asked, "Are they all dead?" Yep.
Yeah. A lot of empathy there.
And Alice asked about the boy, Jason. And the cop said, there was no boy. We didn't find any boy. And Alice said, well, then he's still there.
Yeah, and they cut to the lake.
Cut to a scene of the lake. And I don't know if they meant this or not, but there are small ripples in the center of the shot.
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Okay.
So, I like a good sequel.
Right. But and then the x-ray said body count is 11, including the real snake.
That still pisses me off.
The end. Then the credits roll. And I made a note that Kevin Bacon gets 5th billing.
Was that his first movie?
I don't know. It must have been pretty early. Animal House. I think that was his first one. Yeah, he made his debut in the National Lampoon Animal House as one of the fraternity pledges. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Then he was on Search for Tomorrow and Guiding Light. And then he appeared on Friday the 13th. So this was his second film.
I kind of remember him on Guiding Light.
He was on it from 80 to 81.
Not very long.
Not very long.
Okay, there you go. Trauma from my youth.
Yeah. Anything you were pleasantly surprised by, Karen? Anything you really enjoyed in this film?
Well, I would say from the first time viewing it, I think the ending was pretty good. Just the fact that it was the mom, you didn't know that when you watched it the first time. And if you hadn't read about it or whatever, I thought that was pretty good. And the jump scare at the end was good. And it did have Kevin Bacon in a Speedo. So there you go.
John, what about you? Anything you really enjoyed? Any one thing?
Well, obviously I really enjoyed, the campy nature of it and everything like I already said. But I will touch on and agree with Karen that obviously I don't think I've ever met anybody that said they saw the outcome of this first film being what it was when they went and saw it the first time, and I had no idea, because coming in at a kind of a later date, I already had the knowledge of the character Jason before I had ever seen any of the films. And so I saw this one, and that's what I was expecting, and that is not what was presented. But it was a good twist.
Did you see them? Have you seen them all?
I think I have seen every Friday the 13th film. Did
you watch them in order?
I don't know if I've watched them in order necessarily, but I can tell you, at least from my perspective, if you guys or the audience hasn't seen all of them, after the third one, the order doesn't matter.
Oh, so the first three kind of work on backstory and things, and then after that, it's just massive blood.
Yeah, after that, it kind of turns into the wacky misadventures of Jason Voorhees.
Gotcha. Who's dead, but apparently not?
He is kind of like an undead.
Okay.
If you will.
Greg, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to make it unanimous, I guess. Because I mean, that's pretty much the only thing I like about it, is that it was the mom. I do like that scene where we do see Jason, the first Jason, right?
Yeah, that's a good jump scare. I mean, you think it's over and they get you.
Ari Lehman is his name. That's the actor. And he has a rock band called First Jason now.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Are they any good?
No, yeah, they're pretty good. He kind of sings like they're like a horror rock band.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But this is the only one he was in, but he's the first Jason. So
I love it.
Anything that you were very disappointed in, Karen?
I don't know. I mean, it's what you expect it to be. I can't really think of anything that I was extremely disappointed in.
John, what about you?
Nothing about any of the Friday the 13th movies disappointing. Even the terrible ones, which this is not even close to on that list. What about you?
So I am not going to make it unanimous on this one. There were lots of things I was disappointed in. The music sucked.
See, I didn't think like
cinematography sucked.
Well, you noticed that. I thought whoever composed that
yeah,
that's
cool.
Genius.
But the music in general was terrible. And it was Henry Manfredini. That's who did the score and came up with that whole so
that is still scary to me.
Yeah, that is iconic, but the rest of his shit sucked. So as far as
well, I guess he won't be sponsoring us.
yeah, the music.
I didn't think the acting was that bad. I mean, John, I know you keep calling it camp, but not camp like for kids camp, but I didn't think it was that horrible.
Yep. But it was mostly for me like that the acting. It's like the kind of we touched on it before, but the overplaying of things, especially on like the close up, like kind of suggested kill shots. Those are all super overplayed and very dramatic, and I'm screaming and I'm waving my arms, but I'm not doing anything to defend myself. That kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
In this?
Yeah.
We're talking about the kill shots in this?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't see half of them.
That's why I said suggested kill shots.
Okay.
Do you think that was a budget thing? Or were they trying to make it more mysterious and intense?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Because what you imagine.
It's not that graphic at all. Right?
Except for that bunk bed. Well, I mean, what you see, but Bill was pinned to the door with multiple arrows. That was gross. How was Ned killed? He was dripping blood. His throat was slit, right?
His throat was slit, yeah.
Yeah,
but they were just like split-second shots of him.
Well, yeah, that's enough.
That's one of the things I almost like about it, though, is you don't see the actual kill happening, but they always show you the aftermath.
I mean, even Annie in the woods, that her throat's cut. And
that was a good effect. They did a good job doing her effect, like the throat cut and the blood coming out. But
I thought the head getting chopped off was pretty good. I mean,
that was terrible.
Why? Maybe I was just distracted by the hands that kept going.
I've seen lots of movies. Well, I'm a fan of the Highlander series, so I've seen lots of decapitations, I guess.
But if you're the only one left and everyone is dead, wouldn't it seem like you were the killer? I mean, they have to just believe her that Mrs. Voorhees was.
Well, I'm sure they found the body of Mrs. Voorhees, right?
I know, but she well, who's to say she didn't kill all the other counselors and decapitate her?
Because she has a Dorothy Hamill do.
Yeah. So she's trustworthy.
She's trustworthy.
I know. I'm just saying, if you're the only one left, that looks suspicious.
And the guy who played Bill was the son of Bing Crosby.
He was cute.
Harry Crosby.
Is the cop credited in anything else major? Because he seems familiar as well.
Yeah, he's like your character actor. He's been in lots of things. The character's name is Sergeant Tierney. Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, Spring Break, House 2, Deep Star 6, Fool's Paradise, The Producers. Primarily known for his work on Broadway, it says.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So, John, if you had to rank your favorites in this genre, how would you put them?
In the genre or in the series?
No, not in the Friday the 13th series, but so there's Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Would you say Evil Dead came out at about the same time? Or is that later? It seems later to me.
I think Evil Dead came out a little bit later. But if I'm ranking between those specific three, like those big three, it would be Nightmare on Elm Street in third place, Halloween in second, and Friday the 13th in first.
So this really did hook you. This is your first one that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
this series is what hooked.
And then you said the first three of these are the best in the series of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I think they're the best ones. A lot of stuff I read online, they're widely regarded as the best ones. They're also really the only ones, to my knowledge or my remembrance, that have anything to do with chronology for the series. Kind of what I mentioned before, everything kind of goes a little off the rails after the third one and things get real wacky for a while.
Okay. But Mrs. Voorhees can't come back. She has no head.
Well, I don't know if I want to include this, so I'll tell them that in advance, but the head comes back into play later on in the series.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I'm going to be the first to say this drink is horrible.
Well, before we get to that, what is our cocktail rating on the film? How many cocktails did it take you to get through this film, Karen?
What did we give Nightmare on Elm Street 3?
Yeah, 3's our average.
I would say 3. Although I think I liked Nightmare on Elm Street better than this one.
I would agree.
But not much better. Just a little better.
Well, Nightmare on Elm Street's more entertaining, I think. You know?
Yeah, Johnny Depp versus Kevin Bacon.
Well, is it just the shirtless Johnny Depp for you, or?
It was the crop shirt, please. It was not shirtless. He had the crop top on. And Kevin had the Speedo. So I don't know. Toss up, maybe.
There might be a photo of me in a crop top and cut off jean shorts.
And a bandana?
And a bandana, maybe.
With the hiking boots. You got to have the hiking boots on.
There's definitely a photo of him wearing Timberlands, standing in the gorge with cut-off jean shorts on. I don't know if he's wearing a half shirt.
No, my shirt I have a button-up shirt just totally open.
Yep. He's got like an open flannel and a bandana and his goatee.
Yeah, I'm going to need that, John.
I'll dig it up for you.
His skinny little legs going into those big hiking boots. It always cracked me up.
So we agree, three cocktails?
Yeah, it's pretty average. But not these cocktails.
Yeah. So comments on this drink, Karen? Anything at all you have to say about this?
It was a tough one. I do like the look of it, and I think the honey and the red food coloring is really cool.
Yeah, that's the best
especially part. For a Halloween party. I would put a different drink in it, though.
Yeah, you could do that with any drink. Like maybe I think it should have been like something with blue curacao in it, so it was like more of like a water lakey color instead of a red liquid.
Yeah,
a bitter red liquid.
You're right. A lake with blood surrounding it would have been perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Anything we learned today?
Oh, lots of car facts.
Lots of car facts. I can't believe that both of these vehicles are worth way more now than they were brand new. That just blows my mind.
What that classic status gets you.
I know. That's what most of the cars that we talked about in most of the films do that. But they're usually Cadillac convertibles or...
they're not F-Series pickup trucks.
That's true.
Or Jeep CJ5s.
True.
They're usually like Gold Wings or what was it?
Gull Wing.
Gull Wing. Yeah.
The Gull Wing. But even the Cadillac they had in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, it's true. Cadillac convertible.
Yeah.
Anything else? We learned about the Dorothy Hamill haircut. That was a thing, right?
Yeah. I never had that haircut. I don't have the right kind of hair. You need thicker hair because you got to get that bowl cut in the back,
I suppose. I don't know.
Well, we learned that you have the outfits appropriate for Camp Crystal Lake.
I don't have any Speedos. Never wore a Speedo. But yeah, I can
swim in the jean shorts.
Yeah, can you swim in jean shorts?
Sure. Yeah, I had jeans. Yeah, I'd have been out there with Steve chopping wood and my jean shorts and my bandana and my hiking boots.
Did they have aviator sunglasses back then?
That's me all the way. Yeah.
I think you're wearing Wayfarers in the photo, though.
I don't think I'm wearing any sunglasses.
Are you doing the old safety splint?
Well, we're going to find that photo. Not enough weapons in this one, John.
Nope, not nearly enough. I brought that up in my talking points as well. It's for the reputation that the series has, the first installment is surprisingly light on weaponry.
How are you at archery?
He's good.
Me personally?
He's good.
You could take someone out in the archery range?
He could.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a good shot. Doesn't matter what it is.
So again,
my experience.
Come to my cabin first.
I'll remember that.
Actually, he did archery first as a little kid. I bought him like a little compound bow.
Yeah, when I was like 7.
Yeah, he killed it. Went to Boy Scout camp and he killed the archery. Then they put him on the range with a BB gun and he killed that too.
So what makes someone a good shot? Is it a steady hand? Is it hand-eye coordination? What is it? Is it vision?
I mean, I can give you the answer that I know now after learning more and having more experience with it.
That would be good.
It's about breathing and controlling your heart rate so that your muscles don't jump, so that everything in your body stays full of oxygen, so your muscles are nice and plump. They're not going to, activate any fast twitch muscle fibers on accident or anything like that. Not going to twitch.
So it's steadiness of the whole body, not because they say he has a steady hand. It's not just your hand. It's your entire body has to be calm.
Yeah. To be the most accurate.
Which you wouldn't think of John when he was a kid being that way, but he did it. He was good.
Well, you could focus though, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And you wouldn't think of John being able to focus when he was a kid either.
But no, you focus on what you want to focus on. You're able to focus on something that interests you. You're not able to focus on all the crap that's going on around that you don't care about, right?
Yeah, like math.
Yeah. Or English, like.
Or sitting in your chair.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does suck, especially when I'm looking out the window and there's a whole playground out there taunting me all day.
Right, exactly. That's interesting. So you're a good shot with everything. Good to know. Okay, so if I'm picking a team, I'm picking you first.
Yeah. I always felt safer when John was in the house.
Good to know.
Anything else we learned today, Karen?
No, just that I need to butter up John. That's what I take away from this movie. I want John on my team because I can't do any of the things he can do. We were just watching a movie the other day that I can't remember what it was, but someone had to leave. And I said, they don't have a bug out bag, which I had no idea what that was until I met you, John Wallace.
Well, that's good knowledge to have. Karen.
I know. See, so now I said, why does that man not have a bug out bag?
All right, Karen. I think the next movie is your choice.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So August the 17th.
The Wicker Man is the next movie. Have you seen it, John?
That is a good one. I like that one a lot.
Did you see the 1970 version or the Nicolas Cage version?
I want to say I've seen both, but I would have to check.
Okay. I heard the one with Nicolas Cage was pretty good.
The one we're watching has Christopher Lee in it.
I think that's the one I remember the most.
Well, I have never seen it, so it'll be interesting.
Well, and Karen, why did you pick this film?
I can't remember. Why did I pick this film, Craig?
I think it has something to do with Burning Man or... Right?
Does it?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
You'll have to look at your notes to remind me. But while you do that, we do have a drink. It's called The Sacrifice.
Yeah. Burning Man virtual experience is held on August the 22nd this year.
Oh,
so
okay.
That is why. And that just happens to be Ray Bradbury's birthday, which...
That's what I think I remember.
We may talk about next week.
Yeah. Okay. The drink is called the Sacrifice.
Okay.
It's got dark rum, light rum, white cream to cacao, crushed ice, cranberry juice, orange juice, pineapple juice, 2 dashes of orange bitters is what you're going to need, and coconut cream.
Okay. I know there's bitters in there somewhere. I just want to be sure I didn't miss it. Okay. Awesome.
It looks pretty good.
It's called The Sacrifice.
Yeah. And I found it on haveacocktail.com. So I'm assuming there are sacrifices in this movie.
Well, at least one.
Or attempted. So we'll see.
Anybody we need to thank on your end, Karen?
No, I'm self-sufficient.
Okay. Your son didn't get you your booze or anything? No.
My son was not old enough to get me my booze.
Okay.
I'd like to thank John for showing up again. It's awesome.
Thank John for adding his insight to Friday the 13th. We do need to once again thank the band Verse 13 for letting us use their music in the podcast. Once again, their info will be linked in the show notes. Anything else, John, you have to say?
Big shout out to Ford for the F-Series truck and to Jeep for the Wrangler platform and TJ5.
I thought you were going to say Jesus.
Oh, no, me too.
Big shout out to Jesus. Okay.
And why would I do something like that?
I don't know, but I swear that's what I thought. Lord.
Anything else, Karen?
Just remember, please drink responsibly.
Yes.
If you want to get social with us, you absolutely can. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Email us your questions and comments to scaryspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Search for us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast and check out our website at scaryspirits.com. You can find all the recipes for our themed adult beverages in the recipe den on the website. We are especially excited about our Scary Spirits merch store. Lots of cool stuff with our logo on it. You can find the link to the store on the website. And be sure to share the love and help others find us by leaving us a 5-star review. As always, thanks for listening.